Mayor and Board of Aldermen for Tuesday, February the 17th. I don't have any changes to the agenda. Do you? All right. Could we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So instead of a long mayor's report tonight, I am going to share with y'all. We just all need some positive news right now, don't we? And I received this letter. And I've reached out, her mom has reached out to me this afternoon, so I think that Angelica is watching our live stream on YouTube. But I opened this letter this morning, and it says, "Dear Mayor Tannehill, my name is Angelica, and I'm 7 years old. My big brother and big sister go to Ole Miss. I want to give you $5 out of my piggy bank to help turn on the electricity. I hope this helps. Good luck. Love, Angelica." So she has sent us $5 from her piggy bank, which is so generous, and we are so appreciative. And we hope that when Angelica comes to visit her big brother and big sister, that she finds her way to City Hall so that we can thank her in person. So that's it for a mayor's report tonight. Let's move to 2A, request permission to approve the minutes of the regular Board of Aldermen meeting on February 3rd.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to approve the minutes for the special Board of Aldermen meetings on January 25th, 28th, 30th, and 31st.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to approve the minutes of the special meeting on February the 10th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to approve the accounts for all city departments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request approval of emergency purchases made as a result of Winter Storm Fern that occurred over January 23rd through the 26th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to accept tree fund donations.
This is a special donation that we set up for anybody that wanted to make a donation to the tree. We created an online instance to where they can.
They can donate for tree planting.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? And all the money that goes in this tree fund donation will be utilized strictly to purchase trees. You plant trees in the fall, and so that's when we do our Arbor Day celebration. So we are planning a fabulous Arbor Day celebration for the fall and some community tree planting. So if anyone feels led to donate to buy some trees, please join us. All right, I'll ask the board to consider the consent agenda.
Motion to consider the consent agenda.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we will move to 4A, where I'm going to ask the board to adopt a proclamation to recognize and express our gratitude to municipal utilities providing mutual aid assistance during Winter Storm Fern. Whereas Winter Storm Fern, which impacted our region January 23rd through the 25th, brought extreme winter weather conditions, including snowfall, sleet, freezing rain, significant ice accumulation, high winds, and prolonged sub-freezing temperatures. And whereas these severe conditions resulted in widespread power outages, hazardous travel conditions, and substantial damage to electrical distribution infrastructure throughout the city of Oxford, Mississippi. And whereas restoring electric service under such circumstances required extraordinary effort, technical expertise, and coordinated response beyond the capacity of Oxford Utilities resources alone. And whereas through the longstanding and time-honored mutual aid network among public power communities, municipal utilities from across the region promptly responded to our call for assistance. And whereas Athens Utilities, Decatur Utilities, Opelika Power Services, Riviera Utilities, Troy Utilities, and Tupelo Water and Light deployed skilled line workers, supervisors, equipment operators, and support personnel who traveled away from their homes and families to assist our community during a time of critical need. And whereas these crews worked extended hours in freezing temperatures, icy conditions, and challenging terrain to assess damage, replace poles and lines, and restore electric service safely and efficiently. And whereas their professionalism, dedication to safety, and spirit of cooperation significantly accelerated restoration efforts, reduced the duration of outages, and protected the health, safety, and welfare of our residents and businesses. And whereas the mutual aid partnership demonstrated by these municipal utilities reflects the very best of public power, which is community-focused service, regional collaboration, and an unwavering commitment to reliability and resilience. And whereas the citizens of Oxford, Mississippi have benefited directly from the skill, sacrifice, and selfless service of these outstanding public servants, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Oxford, Mississippi hereby formally express its deepest appreciation and sincere gratitude to Athens Utilities of Athens, Alabama, Decatur Utilities of Decatur, Alabama, Opelika Power Services of Opelika, Alabama, Riviera Utilities of Foley, Alabama, Troy Utilities of Troy, Alabama, Tupelo Water and Light of Tupelo, Mississippi, for their invaluable mutual aid assistance during Winter Storm Fern. Be it further proclaimed that this governing body commends the line workers, crews, and support personnel of these utilities for their courage, technical excellence, and unwavering dedication to public service, and extends heartfelt thanks on behalf of the residents and businesses of our community. The cooperative spirit demonstrated during this emergency stands as a powerful example of the strength and resilience of municipal utilities and the communities they proudly serve. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Oxford, Mississippi to be affixed this 17th day of February 2026. So we will distribute that to all of those power companies with our sincere thanks. Thank you, Rob. All right, could I have a motion to adopt that proclamation?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider a resolution of intent in connection with proposed emergency borrowing for expenses due to Winter Storm Fern. See?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. So what we're asking for today is approval of a resolution authorizing an emergency borrowing by the city in the form of a general obligation note that would pay for the costs incurred by the city in the cleanup and damage repair from the winter storm. This note would be a drawdown note in an amount not to exceed $25 million, and it would be for a term not to exceed 5 years. Those are terms that we would decide once the city determines what the extent of the damage is and how much they really want to borrow, if any, and the time that they want to borrow it for. So the city would only draw the amount that they would want to borrow or need, and then they would only pay interest on the amount drawn down. The resolution authorizes the mayor to make final determinations, including the final amount and the date of the sale, if the city decides to go forward with this drawdown note.
And so we do this because the bills are going to come due. We've gotten our first bill today from Looks Great Services for $1 million for debris pickup. We will have to pay these bills before we are reimbursed by FEMA or MEMA, and we're told sometimes that can take up to 2 years to get reimbursed. So we expect that the cost of recovery for us will be around $25 million, and so this will allow us to borrow that money if we need to. I am still hopeful, and I'm going to Jackson tomorrow, and a lot of discussions that I will have will be centered around a revolving loan that's zero interest at the state level. That's what Tennessee has done, and we are hopeful that our state will do that so that we will not have to incur interest on this money while we wait to be reimbursed. But so that's tonight. We want to have it ready to go, though, if we need to do this. So
Move we approve.
Second.
all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Sue. All right, Rusty. Request permission to adopt a retirement resolution for Oxford Police Department employee Mark Hodges.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Chief is unable to be here due to some family emergency, so it's kind of my honor, as I've gotten to work hand in hand with this guy over the last few years with the CID, to read his proclamation. Whereas Lieutenant Mark Hodges has faithfully and honorably served the citizens of Mississippi and the Oxford Police Department with exceptional commitment, valor, and unwavering dedication. Whereas his distinguished career began in 1999, Lieutenant Mark Hodges joined the Oxford Police Department in 2009. With more than 26 years of service, Mark is known for his professionalism, his dedication, and steady leadership. His career reflects a consistent dedication to his teammates, to his department, and to the Oxford community. Whereas Lieutenant Mark Hodges has served in a wide range of assignments, including patrol, K-9, narcotics, SWAT, and as a school resource officer, earning opportunities in leadership in nearly every division he has been a part of. He currently serves as a lieutenant of the Criminal Investigations Division, where his experience and leadership continue to support the department's mission and effectiveness. And whereas Mark has played an important role in expanding the Oxford Police Department's investigative operation, he also helped establish the cell phone forensics program. He created the Oxford Peace Officers Association, helped start the OPD drone program, and his initiative helped us to join in the Internet Crimes Against Children, or ICAC, task force, which extended our department's ability to protect child victims and to address online exploitation. Whereas throughout his career, Lieutenant Hodges has demonstrated service, integrity, and mentorship. His commitment to progress, teamwork, and the people he serves continues to make a meaningful difference within the Oxford Police Department and the community. And whereas Mark has made a mark on the city of Oxford, the Oxford Police Department, and the entire Oxford community with his dedicated service, and will be remembered for years to come. Therefore, it be resolved that the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Oxford express their sincere appreciation and gratitude to Mark Hodges for his work on behalf of the Oxford Police Department and the City of Oxford.
All right, thank y'all. And good evening. Standing here is both humbling and a little surreal. When I started my law enforcement career back in 1999, I never imagined how quickly the years would pass or how many incredible people I'd meet along the way. Deputy Chief Raspberry just shared some insights of my career, and while most of those moments are special, what means the most to me isn't any particular assignment or accomplishment. It's the people. The men and women I've had the honor to serve alongside, the friendships forged through long nights, tough calls, and shared laughter, you've all become family to me. To the Oxford Police Department, thank you. You've given me purpose, camaraderie, and a chance to be part of something bigger than myself. We've seen this profession change, and we've changed with it, always working to serve our community with integrity and heart. I'm proud of what we've built together, and I know the future of the department is in good hands. To CID, it's been a privilege to lead you. Thank you for your hard work and dedication and your trust. It's been an honor to watch you grow, to share ideas, to face challenges together, and to see your commitment to doing the job the right way. You've made me proud every single day, and knowing that you'll continue to carry the mission forward gives me great confidence in what's ahead. To the community, thank you for your trust and support. It's easy to focus on the challenges, but over the years, I've seen the best of what this city has to offer. Time and again, you've shown appreciation for the badge, and that has never gone unnoticed. It's been an honor to serve you. To my family, thank you for your patience, sacrifice, and love. This career demands a lot, and you've carried the weight that comes with it. Every late night, every missed event, every moment of worry, I know it wasn't easy, and I couldn't have done any of this without you. And finally, I want to thank God for the protection, guidance, and grace He's given me throughout this journey. There have been plenty of times when His hand was the only thing between me and disaster, and I don't take that lightly. As I move into retirement, I do so with gratitude for the opportunities, the challenges, and the people who shaped me along the way. I'm proud to have served this city and this department, and I will always be grateful for the privilege of wearing this badge. Thank you all for allowing me to serve and for honoring me here today. It has been the greatest honor of my life.
Mark, you have served honorably and mentored so many people along the way, and just hearing Rusty read out all of the different programs that you started that were your brainchild and are things now that we'll use them forever. So you will have forever left your mark on our agency and in our community, and we are forever grateful to your sweet family as well, who has, you're right, all the events he's missed and all the times he's put himself in danger and all the things that have been so hard as a wife and kids. We thank y'all as well. So enjoy retirement. I bet we come find you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I move we approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request permission for retired officer Mark Hodges to purchase his service weapon for $1 as allowed by state statute.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request permission to approve an event permit for Visit Oxford for third Thursday, Music in the Pocket Park at the Pocket Park next to City Hall from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. on March 19th, on April 16th, on May 21st, and on June 18th.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request permission to approve an event permit for Visit Oxford for the Double Decker Arts Festival, starting at 10 p.m. on Thursday, April 23rd, until 2 a.m. on April 26th at the Oxford Square and city parking lots.
Motion to approve.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for Special Olympics Mississippi to host a law enforcement torch run on May 4th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for the U.S. Marshal Service to host a Fallen Heroes Honor Run on March 6th from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for St. Peter's Episcopal Church to host an annual Mardi Gras parade on February 17th from 5:30 to 6 p.m.
Move we approve.
In 15 minutes? That's right. Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for Adam Stewart to host Run of Champions race on October the 3rd from 7:30 a.m. to 11 a.m.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Man, the ice storm made people want to do some parading. We got a lot of parades in our future, guys. All right, we will move to our development services agenda and request approval for case 3319, a final plat amendment requested by Pine Lake Church for Evergreens Phase 3, Lot 8, for property located at 5202 Pat Patterson Parkway, PPIN 38562. Robert.
So this is a request to expand the existing Lot 8 of the Evergreen subdivision, which is about 12 acres, by roughly 5 acres to accommodate quite a bit of additional parking for the church. Proposed expanded Lot 8 will comply with dimensional standards of TNB, and the applicant has identified one party they believe to be directly interested in this change and provided their written signature. At February meeting, Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the request for final plat amendment with the conditions in the staff report, and should the board find that there are no other directly interested or adversely affected parties, staff recommends approval with the 2 conditions that are in your memo.
All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Request approval for case 3321, a final plat amendment requested by Forest Hill Development, John Galena, for Grove at Grand Oaks, Phase 8, lots 125, 126, and 127, for property located at 1312 Torrey Pines Loop, PPIN 42062. Kate?
Thank you, Mayor. The applicant requests approval for a plat amendment for 3 lots in the Grove at Grand Oaks Phase 8. This phase was originally recorded in October of 2024. The request was heard at the February 9th meeting of the Planning Commission and unanimously recommended for approval. The property is in the Grand Oaks PUD, and the applicant's going to be combining those 3 lots into 2 larger lots. They sit in the curve of Torrey Pines Loop, just north of the Pine Valley intersection. The applicant, as required, did notify those that they deemed to be directly affected by this change, and their signatures were included with the petition, and staff is recommending approval as well as the Planning Commission.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Request approval for case 3324, a preliminary and final plat requested by Sarah Camp Milam for property located at 433 North 15th Street, PPIN 6162 and 42173. Kate.
Thank you. So this property is an L-shaped lot with frontage on Adams Avenue and North 15th Street. The plat would allow for a subdivision resulting in 2 lots measuring 0.128 acres and 0.195 acres. This would create a nonconformity as Lot 1 would be below the lot size minimum for the traditional suburban residential zoning district. Additionally, the lot is part of the Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District, which includes design standards to ensure that changes are compatible in Oxford's older neighborhoods. This property was at one time the site of a historic home which was demolished without approval by the prior owner in November of 2022, and this occurred before selling the lot to the current owner. The site is currently a residential common interest development, and a historic home sits on what would be proposed Lot 1. Proposed Lot 2 is currently vacant due to the demolition. This property was the subject of 2 variances heard in May of 2025. Planning Department staff recommended denial of a requested lot size variance, as the subdivision of the 2 lots would render 1 lot smaller than the requirements of the TSR zoning. Both variances, the one just mentioned for lot size and one for a side yard setback on the existing house, were approved by the Planning Commission. The preliminary and final plat were also recommended for approval by the Planning Commission. The preliminary and final plat were heard by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen on May 20th, 2025. Though there was a motion to approve the preliminary and final plat, the motion failed. That was the meeting we had to go in the basement because of the tornado. Everyone remembers that. The applicant again requested the plat approval, and this case was heard at the February 9th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Staff continued to recommend denial due to the issue with lot size. At that meeting, the plat was unanimously recommended for approval by the Planning Commission, as they had done previously. Another complicating factor for this application is the Historic Preservation Ordinance. Though that's not the purview of the Planning Commission, it was relevant to the discussion there and is here today. The former building on the site of Lot 2 was demolished without approval, as we mentioned earlier, by the previous owner of the lot. Section 5427 of the Municipal Code allows for the Commission to deny, that's the Historic Preservation Commission, to deny any application on the same property where a building was demolished for up to 48 months after an unapproved demolition. As the building was demolished in October of 2023, there are still 20 months left that the Commission could require the lot to sit vacant. So, should the plat move forward, the design for the new house would go to the Preservation Commission for approval, and that's when that part of the ordinance could be enacted by the Preservation Commission. So staff continues to recommend denial of the preliminary and final plat consistent with our previous recommendation. I did include that should the mayor and board choose to recommend approval, we request that the condition that all engineering review comments are satisfied as a condition. So that's a lot of timeline. I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have them.
You have bad luck with this. Little PTSD.
Don't want to go to the basement again.
Not want any flashing of the lights, please. Does anybody have questions for Kate?
So the planning commission approved.
They recommended that you guys approve.
Okay.
Correct.
Any questions?
And then it still has to go back to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Correct. So essentially, this would allow for the subdivision into 2 lots rather than it's currently a RCID, a condo. So it would be subdivided, but the lot's vacant. So once the applicant comes forward with plans for new construction, that will go to the Preservation Commission for whatever house they plan to build there. And they've expressed that it'll be a single-family home.
Okay.
I do believe that the owners of this property, being that it touches their property, have a vested interest in this lot, and so I would move to approve with the staff recommendation of engineering review comments be satisfied.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, appeal of Courthouse Square Historic Preservation Commission Case 487, a request by Stefano Capomazza to demolish the existing building and build a new building at 1006 Jefferson Avenue, PPIN 5854. Kate?
Thanks. Still me. So, the appeal of the COA noted by the mayor was a request to demolish the existing building, that's the LaRue's building, and to build a new building on the site. This item was first heard as a complimentary review item at the December 2025 meeting of the Courthouse Square Commission. It was discussed and then ultimately tabled at the January 2026 meeting. And then eventually the vote to demolish was heard at the last meeting. The hearing and vote was held on Monday, February 2nd. Acting Chairman Heineman, that's Amanda Heineman, called for a motion on the demolition portion of the request. Commissioner Webb made a motion to approve the requested COA, and the motion was seconded by Commissioner Stribling. The motion failed with a 3-2 vote. So there was a motion to approve, but it ultimately failed at the vote. On February 4th, staff received a request to appeal the denial, and that letter was included with your packet, as well as the previous documents related to the case. This property has been considered several times by the commission in 2010 through 2019. Though there are no existing active approvals related to the property, as all have expired. The most recent approval, which was in 2019, would have allowed the applicant to relocate the existing building to build a new parking lot on the site. And that parking lot was to service the building that's being built across the street. But since that time, the ordinance has changed, so parking is not required in the urban center. So they're no longer required to build that parking for the building that's catty corner next to Oxford Floral.
So no building was
Right,
approved.
correct. They were going to move the existing building to another site out of the district and build a parking lot. That's what that approval was for in 2019. So at the meeting this month, the commission did not vote to approve the demolition, so there was no vote on the proposed design for new construction. If the Board of Aldermen votes to overturn the commission's vote on the demolition, staff recommends that the next course of action would be that the design of the new building would be considered and heard by the Courthouse Square Commission. So the vote that you guys are discussing today is the demolition. And so we're requesting that if you do choose to overturn it, it'll go to the Courthouse Square for the new design. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the demolition. The building is described as circa 1895 one-story frame with vinyl siding, Queen Anne, and Craftsman Styles L-plan cottage. The building is highly altered since construction and is listed as non-contributing in the Courthouse Square Historic District. We don't know the full history of the structure, but it's clear that it's been added on to many times over the years that now surround the main original form of the building. I'm going to read into the record. According to Section 5427 of the Municipal Code, in considering any application for demolition of a landmark or a resource within a preservation district, the following shall be considered. The Commission shall consider the individual architectural, cultural, and/or historical significance of the resource. The Commission shall consider the importance or contribution of the resource to the architectural character of the district. The Commission shall consider the difficulty or impossibility of reproducing the resource because of its texture, design, material, or detail. So those are the criteria for demolition that the Commission considers when they're considering a demolition request. So I think I've laid out the facts for you all. There was a section at the end of your report that had the links to the 3 meetings and descriptions of what happened there. And again, we're requesting that if the Commission's decision is overturned, that the board would specify that the new design would go to the Courthouse Square Commission for consideration.
And this structure is non-conforming?
It's listed as non-contributing in the district.
Non-contributing.
So that doesn't necessarily mean, like, non-contributing isn't a blank pass to do anything that you want, but it means that when the survey was done of the area, like, so we had a consultant come in to update our surveys in 2021, that building was not determined to contribute architecturally to the character of the district because of alterations. Because it is old, it's just been highly altered.
And in their denial of the non-approval of the demolition, they didn't cite, reference any of those 3 conditions that you read off.
Well, but they were discussed.
They were discussed, but they didn't cite any of those for the reason to deny.
They didn't vote to deny. What happened was
They voted
there was a
that,
motion for it, and then
right,
3 didn't vote for the motion.
right,
So,
okay,
but
right.
yes, your premise is right, but they didn't.
I think it would have been a regular for them to.
Okay.
Okay, this has been, I guess, renovated, redone 7 to 8 times, piecemeal together, if you will.
Yeah, the original form is totally surrounded by additions. And then the porch on the front is a later addition as well.
And then previously, they had planned to move the building, but I know there's a letter in here that says that that's not possible.
Correct. So in the 2019 approval, they were planning to move it, I believe, with Habitat for Humanity, although a site hadn't been chosen. And so that was discussed at the complimentary review and then the January hearing with the Courthouse Square Commission. So I believe that's why they got that letter to say like it couldn't be moved, because the commission had brought up that previous approval.
Was that the application from 2010 to 2019, all of them were to move the home? Or any straight up?
Some of it predates me, but I believe so, yes. Yeah.
Does this property, and I know the argument, and I've read the minutes and everything, it talks about that it holds no architectural significance, but just the fact that it's a one-story resident in this district, does that give it individual significance?
That was a lot of the content of discussion by the commission. I mean, I don't want to speak for the commission, but it's all on the record that a lot of the discussion was about scale and massing and the other residential structures on the street. I mean, you're kind of across from the Isom House, and there's those one-story rentals. So it certainly was discussed. We left, staff actually didn't recommend on the demolition just because it had been decided by the commission before, even though it could have been different commissioners. So we sort of left that up to the commission to decide.
Demolition and relocation fall under the same guideline, because if you're not relocating into the historic district.
Yeah. I see what you're asking. That was also a big point of discussion because I wrote in my report that if you're moving it out of the historic district, it's no longer contributing to the district. So I consider that a demolition. I was not on staff at the time of the previous hearing, but that's how we discussed it at the meeting. Yes.
The answer to the factors are basically that it's not impossible to reproduce. It doesn't, although it's non-contributory, so it doesn't contribute architecturally to the district itself.
Strictly by
I understand.
Yeah, strictly by the Secretary of the Interior standards. Does that mean that what you understand? I don't need to keep going.
Okay. Comments, questions? Motions? Oh. Okay, Walt, you want to say something?
Well, I'm happy to answer any questions addressing any of these concerns that were raised. I won't repeat everything that I put in my submission to y'all. But to the point of whether or not this structure has individual significance, I would point out that's one of the listed factors. And by being non-contributing, not merely by the state historical guidelines, but by the city's own design standards, non-contributing means that it lacks historical integrity or significance because of all of these additions that completely surround this building. And part of my argument that's already been made is the fact that because there is no separate standard for demolition from relocation, it is the exact same standard. This same decision has been made by the city multiple times, and it should make that same decision again. The letter that was submitted and is in the packet was not requested for the purpose of determining the integrity of the building. The gentleman is a house mover. We called him to get a quote for moving the house, and he said, I can't move this house. It won't survive. And as Jeff Williams pointed out, all of these additions are being held together by the roof. And so even if you tried to move it, you'd have to remove the roof, at which point all of these things would have to be peeled off. And what was left in the very center, which you can barely see currently, is the original structure. Now, another point that I think may have gotten lost here is it was raised that on the interior of this building, it was presented that Stefano has had to renovate the interior of this building pretty much every other year since LaRousse has been there. It's a constant struggle to keep it in operational form for an ongoing business. LaRousse is relocating to the new building directly across the street in the Zachary. And so if demolition is not allowed, the challenge is going to be finding someone willing to rent a building that they're going to have to renovate every other year. And back to the question of individual significance, I also think it's important, this is the Courthouse Square Preservation District. There are 2 other residential districts of which residential structures are extremely important. But that's not the focus of the Courthouse Square districts. It's about commercial importance. In commercial, it's 0 lot lines. It's built, side to side. It's the considerations listed as contribution to economic growth and sales tax receipts. And that's going to be promoted by the demolition and the new construction, not by preserving a building that takes constant maintenance. So I'm jumping around because I'm trying not to cover everything, but procedurally, it's a 2-step process. First demolition, then the building. Building's not been brought up for vote or approved. They can't get to that until you have the demolition approved. Do y'all have any other questions or clarifications you'd like to have from us?
All right.
Okay. Question for you. So this is demolition. Then it would go back to the square preservation. The plans would have to go back to the square preservation. Site plan would have to go through the planning commission.
Correct.
All that. We're not doing any approvals of building, stuff that was in our packet.
Yeah, I'm asking you not to, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All we're doing is saying, hey,
Yes.
they can demolish the house. They have the permission to demolish the house. And I would say that given that we've said previously that we were going to allow for it to be moved, which is your definition of being demolished, I would say that we approve the demolish with the conditions that you stated earlier. That'd be a motion.
All right.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next on our agenda, consider addendum number 3 from Looks Great Services for a not-to-exceed extension. Mark?
So we've heard Looks Great. It's a name a lot now the past couple of weeks. The 26th, the original contract was for not to exceed $500,000. The first addendum, was for $5 million. We did get a bill today, but the service they performed today have us at $3.9 million. $3.9 million. So we're close to that $5 million. This addendum would get us to $14 million. So we have an RFP out right now. It's taking 30 days, and as soon as that RFP comes in and we review it, we can bring a recommendation back to this board. We asked them, instead of continuing to extend, these are just not to exceed amounts where it's not a guaranteed price. We can stop service at any time for any reason. So we asked them to at least get us an amount that could get us through the RFP process. They estimate that's about $14 million. So the recommendation is to extend that not to exceed amount to $14 million.
And the RFP is
For debris pickup.
For debris hauling pickup.
Yeah. We signed an emergency.
I know. I mean, we got to do it, so I move we extend it to $14 million.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, consider second amendment to independent contractor agreement with Debris Tech to raise not to exceed cap. These go hand in hand. We're picking up the
Same
debris and we're
situation.
monitoring the debris, so.
Yeah, same situation. First addendum was to increase from 100,000 to $1 million. We asked them the same question. We have an RFP out for debris monitoring. We said, what do we need to do to get to that date to review? And they said 2.8 million. Again, that's tied to the 14 million. Same situation. It's not to exceed. It's not a guaranteed contract amount. So we recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? It was brought to my attention that I may have just really screwed up right before everybody left, but The vote for the case 487. I thought it was 4-3 in favor, but I'm being told it was 4-3 against, so I guess I need a.
Against.
Okay, so that would be you, Brian, and who else was against? Keisha and Mary Martha. Okay, so I just sent them out with wrong information. So sorry. Yep, that was me.
Mark, curiosity question on debris removal while we're 75 yards per truck roughly? Something like that,
something
like 100,
Something like that.
like 70. I was talking to one of the guys and he was 75
I can
in the
give you an
truck.
update.
And, no, I was just curious. So that's 150 yards per truck.
Or do you know how much we've toted as of today?
200,000 cubic yards a day. We had 18,200 today. 37 trucks, 27 trailers. The county's at like 248,000, so they're just about 40,000 ahead of us now.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second on that one?
So moved.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Consider bids for the City of Oxford Rubbish Site West Expansion Project.
So we did receive 5 RFPs for this 2.6 acre expansion for the landfill. We got 5 proposals back, which is a good number for this project. The low proposer was Century Construction, $340,000 and $71.21. That's below budget, pretty well below budget. So we thought that was a good price with a lot of good companies bidding on it. So we recommend approval. With Century.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? So I totally screwed up, Walt and Stefano. I apologize. I did not hear one of the votes correctly, and it was pointed out to me that I said that the motion to demolish passed, and it in fact failed 4-3. I did not hear all the votes clearly.
So just for clarity, then, who were the votes?
The 4 that were against it were Mary Martha, Keisha, Brian, and Preston. Thank you. I'm sorry. All right. Request permission to approve change order number 1 for the Anderson Road wells number 3 and number 4 contract A project.
Yeah, so this at the Anderson Road water treatment tank site where we did have this project set up to dig 2 new wells. Because of some extenuating circumstances, we wanted to move these 2 sites to M Trade Park, where we're planning a new water treatment plant. So this is a no-cost change order. The contractor has agreed to do it at no extra cost. All he has to do is move his equipment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission for the mayor to execute the contract agreements from the Anderson Road Water Distribution Improvements Project.
So this just places a new water main from Pat Patterson Parkway up Anderson Road to the new site we recently purchased for the new elevated tank that will go in sooner or later. 20-inch water main all the way up the hill. The reason we're pushing that now is because we have some MCWI money left that we have to spend before October, and that project qualifies. So we went ahead and do that.
So move.
Second.
Hey,
All in
question,
favor?
Question, real quick.
Yep.
Where's that pipe, like, run? Is it running, is it gonna run the street, or where's it gonna run?
It will run under the north side of the street. And the reason it's going in the street is because there are all kinds of utilities outside of the street that we would not be able to mess with.
So,
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, great. I would ask the board to, do I have it what? Oh, sorry, I'm checking too fast. Consider a request from OIP Investments for revocable license for 208 South Lamar Boulevard.
So this is the new building over here at the vacant lot right behind Square Books. Part of that building project is going to be a 2-story building. They're going to reconstruct the sidewalks along South Lamar and Harrison, which will involve balcony for the second floor and then a roof canopy up top. So that's going to require a revocable license since it will be encroaching into our right-of-way, which you have to approve.
This has gone through planning. It's gone through planning, right? Approved. Yeah, move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Now I'll ask you to consider an executive session.
Move we consider executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The board will now consider an executive session.
Sweet.